Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. I decided to activate a new level of boldness, and that was going live in the park. But I did not account for the idea that I think these are like high schoolers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, I feel like these are probably like high schoolers. They just got out of school. But it's a park like right by my house. So I was just like, I'm doing it. And then by the time I had already geeked myself up to do it, they were getting out of school. Hence it being done. But needless to say, I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to go live every Wednesday. Generally, the idea of Wednesday's recordings for Help a Founder Out was because I realized I've learned some things that could potentially help a founder out, but also I can still continue to learn things from other founders, right? And so the idea here is just to exchange information. Let's make sure we can share our information and help each other out. So on today's episode, this is part 3, doing it every week. I've been true to myself, which is really exciting to go ahead and do it. So this week is me sharing the top 3 things that people often ask me as it relates to this move, as it relates to like what just happened in my life, not so much because I don't know why people think that when other people ask them questions, they're being nosy. I generally think when other people ask me questions, they have their own level of curiosity that they're trying to ask themselves, figure out amongst themselves about their own journey, right? And so I'm happy to share information, hence going live. So, number one question that I get asked. So for those who don't know me, I'm Samela, and I am a 2-time founder. I'm currently building Block, which is my baby. And Block is a home exchange marketplace that let creative entrepreneurs who already love to travel and they're traveling for work, like leisurely, right, like business and work. We created a community where you can swap homes and not have to worry about the cost of lodging, right? So if I stay at your home in Chicago, you stay at my home in New York, right? And vice versa. Or if we have multiple homes, you stay across these members' homes. But I didn't come here to talk specifically about Block more than I did to talk to you about the top 3 questions that I get asked often. So as I'm approaching my 90 days in New York, people who know me know that I was in Miami for 11 years. Since 2012, I moved from Chicago to Miami just in hopes of a good life. It was a beautiful weather. Why not? Let's just do it type of thing. Not knowing that I would eventually start multiple companies, experience some of the best things in life, find some of my best friends, work at some of the top hotels, move to an island. I didn't know any of that was going to be a thing. I just knew that I wanted to move to Miami simply because the weather was good and I had hotel experience. So that was the backstory. Now let's jump into these 3 questions that people ask me. The number one question I get asked when I start sharing my story with other people is, why did I decide to move from Miami after 11 years to New York, especially, and they always add this emphasis, like there's no, this emphasis is always there, especially with seasonality. And that's real. That seasonality part is extremely real. And I had the chance to experience my first winter in a really long time, considering the fact that I'm from Chicago, right? So the truth is, I am on assignment. I moved from Miami where I thought I was living my best life, to New York because I was prompted by God. Most people don't necessarily understand that, not because they are not trying to understand it, but because they've never been able to allow a prompting or the Holy Spirit to like move them that aggressively or that much of an unknown change. But I moved to New York because I'm on assignment, and there is a market opportunity here that I have been called to come and fulfill. As you guys may or may not know, we're coming up on a year that short-term rentals is illegal. As of Labor Day last year, short-term rentals are now illegal here in New York City, which means if you were traveling to New York, the only thing that you could do is stay at a hotel. That's the only option that you have. There are some licenses, and you can do like a 30-day or longer, but overall, booking a person's home for a short period of time, under 30 days, is few and in between. And so because I was doing a form of short-term renting, I was in that sector in Miami, I was prompted to make a pivot and to come to New York. Now, in the process, I didn't necessarily say, oh yeah, I want to move to New York. Let's do it. It wasn't like an exciting factor at the beginning, just to be clear. I had to get in agreement, but I wasn't automatically in agreement to do it. But one of the things that absolutely helped me get in agreement, get in alignment, was a question that I asked myself. Do you want to be comfortable, or do you want to be great? And when I asked myself that, the comfort is knowing you already have your circle in Miami, the weather's always beautiful, you can call and make whatever you need to happen. Your best friends are there, right? Like this whole lifestyle that you created. Or do you want to be great, i.e. answer the assignment that God prompted me to, which is this large market opportunity. Clearly, the choice is greatness because I'm sitting in New York and I've been here for coming on 90 days now. So I also made the decision very early on that I will potentially be misunderstood. I will potentially be, not everybody understands the idea of a call. Not everybody understands the idea of making it happen. So that was the first question, the top question that I get asked. Why did I leave Miami, beautiful weather, to New York? I'm so happy I did, but we'll get to it. Second question that I get asked often is, how did that impact my creative journey as an entrepreneur, right? Like, if you don't know nobody in New York, how you gonna build this business? That's the general idea around moving into a new market. So first of all, I didn't realize that I was being prompted to move from the 18th largest market in the U.S. to the number one largest market. Miami is the 18th largest market. New York is the number one largest market. If I would have known that, I probably would have been a little intimidated, if I'm being honest. But thank goodness I did not know that. A friend of mine got me up on the phone and called me and told me that. Now, back to the question. How did it impact my creativity and my entrepreneurial journey moving to New York? Well, the truth is, there was levels to this, right? I had to absolutely change my mindset around meeting new people, being open to make new friendships, being open to reaching out, asking for help. So the first thing that was impacted was my mindset. I made a conscious decision that I would not complain when I got here. I would not feel sorry for myself, and I would not ever be a victim of anything, right? And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. So mindset, top impact. The next impact for my creativity was having to learn to ask for help. Isn't that so funny? This is why this group is so important. This is why doing Help a Founder Out is so important, because once I had to learn how to ask for help, I realized that there's other people who need help, but they don't generally ask for help. Hey, Lashana, how are you? Thanks for joining. So once I learned how to ask for help, I realized that I do have a massive network, actually. And a lot of people in my network actually a lot of them moved from New York, have roots in New York, have grown up in New York, have businesses in New York, or like an expanded network in New York. And they were happy to open doors for me. And to be honest with you, I still have not even tapped into my actual network of people here from Miami to New York yet. I'm going to do that, note to self. So relying on my network for sure was a big impact on my creativity. And then I had to understand that the oil that's on me, the sauce that's on me, the people, let me see, how do I say that? My personality, it gets along with multiple people. I think it's my hospitality background. I actually try and I actually care about people. But I had to realize that wasn't just the oil that was in one city or another. That oil was on me. That is a Samela oil. That's not a Chicago oil. That's not a New York oil. That's not a Miami oil. So I can actually let the train go by. It's a beautiful day, by the way. But I can actually, my creativity was reinvigorated. Love that word. My creativity was reinvigorated once I realized that I was not stuck, or I wasn't just for one market. And so that impact was an absolute positive impact. And while most people naturally think that a move or doing something big or like changing something, they only automatically see the negative aspects of it. But the truth is, it was so many positive aspects because it deepened my relationships. It got rid of the ones that was not supposed to move with me on the next journey. It revealed people's motives, my own motives. It revealed the fact that I decided I wanted to be great and not just comfortable. So it was a lot of amazing things that came from moving that I seen about myself as a person, about myself as a creative, and like my resourcefulness to get things done. And then it also revealed some amazing things about my support system, my entrepreneurial community. And I promise you, I feel like, I tell people all the time, I feel like I got welcomed. Like New York has been waiting on me and I got welcomed with open arms. It's been freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. Now, the third question, and this is probably something more along the lines of, for you all, whoever is thinking about making a big move, making a big life change, doing something absolutely different than what they're used to dealing with. This question is, what advice would I give to someone else looking to make a big move? And baby, that list is long, but the short version of it is, you have to understand and sit in the fact that you are much stronger than you even know. You are much more resilient than you even know. You can stretch further than you know, but because you're comfortable, but because you have, you can almost like predict your surroundings and how people will respond to you. You haven't had to exercise that strength. So when you're thinking about making a big move, a big change, a big life redirection, just remember that you are much more stronger, much more resilient, and you can stretch much more than you think that you understand. The next thing for you is understanding that it's okay to not have to expeditiously move through things, right? Like the timing of everything will fall in its place in this right space. You just have to open up your heart to be in a state of receiving. You have to open up your heart and make sure that you're flexible and that you can adjust and adapt quickly. These kids are crazy, but I like it. Their energy is so youthful. They're fearless. They don't even be caring about stuff. And I like this energy. Not necessarily to go back to those heydays, but you know, their energy is good. So be adaptable. Whatever you're about to switch to, go into it knowing that you don't have the answers. You have no clue what's going to happen. You have a vision. You understand what you would like to see happen, and you're going to do your part to make it happen. But you don't have to force anything. Do not feel like you have to force in, squeeze in. Be your authentic self, because that's where people are going to rock with you. That's where people are going to love you. That's where people are going to naturally come to you. I have people tapping me on my shoulder when I'm walking down the street, telling me their problems. Literally, like they just tap me on their shoulder. And really the truth is, what it comes down to is they just needed a friend. And apparently I looked friendly enough. I mean, I am in the park with my camera on. So, I mean, that does kind of give friendly vibes. And then another thing is, if you're going to make a big move in your life, a big change in your life, and do something outside of your comfort zone, you must remain curious. Why did they do that? Why do they do that here like that in New York? Who is responsible for putting that together? Ooh, I want to get involved in that. I got curious to say, like, where do the entrepreneurs meet at? Like, how do they hang out? How often do they hang out? And because I couldn't find it, I just took the lead and started hosting my own Believe Your Happy Hours. And I mean, I only did one, and I was scared out of my mind. And I had like a small circle like this. But when I tell you that it was beautiful, the text messages I got back, the connections that happened without me, it was beautiful, right? And so this is part of the stretching yourself and knowing that you're more resilient than you ever even knew. And understand all of your past. If you are a spiritual person, you can really rely on the fact that everything that you've done up until this point of this big move is what really is going to help you sustain it. Because you know what you know. You got the receipts. You got the experience. You got the expertise. Trust yourself. Be authentic and make it happen. Because you got two choices. You could be comfortable or you can be great. That's it. I decided I wanted to be great. I took the leap. I made the move. I didn't know anybody. Well, I did know some people here, so let me fix that story. I did know some people here, but I didn't have any like close networks. And the closest friend that I did have here actually moved literally like 2 weeks after I came here. So thank goodness I wasn't relying like, okay, I'm going to use her as a crutch. But we're still very much connected. We deserve to experience new things. The only way we're going to do it is if we take risks. The only way we're going to do it is if we show up. And you can do anything that you put your mind to. I know people say that. I know it sounds like so cliche, but it's really authentic because you have made it in your mind that I'm going to be successful. I made it in my mind that, and I think I started saying it naturally just to kind of like start brainwashing myself, but it was real. It was also my real feeling. And I started saying it out loud to start brainwashing myself. And that was Chicago to Miami was a lifestyle move. It helped me understand a different lifestyle. It helped me understand the different lifestyles I have access to, the different ways that other people are living. But the move from Miami to New York absolutely is a legacy move. I am ready to lay some roots. I'm ready to invest in my own family of sorts, i.e. be a wife, which means I got to go outside and date, which means I got to make myself available, right? These are all things that have to happen. But because I understood my goals, because I understood myself, And because when I went and looked at my receipts, I moved. I've stayed in places. I moved to the Virgin Islands. I moved to Miami. I moved to Atlanta. I moved to Peoria for college. I moved to, I'm sure it's other places that it's not even coming to my mind. But I've moved around. So, like, why you tripping, Samela? You're not new to this. You've been about this life. See, you can do it. And so put some respect on your name. Put some respect on your name. Do what you need to do. I wanted to pop in today simply because Help a Founder Out is so that other people can submit their concerns and we could do a creative strategy. But because I didn't have anyone submit a form this week, I believe that me sharing my story of becoming would help another founder out. So if this was helpful to you, if you feel like you understand, or if you feel like there's questions that I can answer, please let me know, because somebody helped me out. Somebody opened the door for me. Somebody put me in the game. And all I want us to do is be great together. So in the meantime, in between time, be great. And I'll see you all at the top. Bye.